Hi, this is Jen, and thanks for joining me. Today I'm doing a decorative thread spool, and I'm using 3 plain thread spools, some paper clips, some scrap paper, and a few other items. I believe these are 1-inch spools, and these have never had thread on them. I bought them naked like this. And so I'm going to stain the ends, and I'm using Minwax stain. So I'm putting this on with a sponge brush, and then I will wipe off the excess with a paper towel. And these thread spools, they fit perfectly, or the paper clips that I'm using, the large paper clips, fit perfectly in the hole. If you have some older thread spools, maybe the ones that have thread on them, the bigger ones won't fit in the holes, but maybe the smaller ones will. So I've stained all of the spools, and as you can see there's glitter on the end. I originally put the glitter on and then I didn't end up liking it, so I took some sandpaper and tried to get off as much as I could. And then I just measured around and left a little bit of a whole overhang, so I cut my paper to size. And then I'm going to use some Mod Podge, and this is matte Mod Podge. And I'm just putting it on the side that's not showing. I won't be putting it on the outside where the words are. And this is these are gifts for a few of my coworkers that I work really closely with, just an appreciation gift. So I take the paper and I hold one end and then kind of wrap the other end around as tight as I can. If you do happen to get a bubble, I've found the easiest way to get that out is to push both sides towards the seam, and that usually gets it out. And if it doesn't get it out completely, at least it's hidden in the seam. And then I just took a paper towel and I wipe off the excess glue while also pressing down on the paper so that it adhered really well to the spool. And these spools, originally I had taken a strip of decorative tape and put it around the middle, and I didn't end up liking the way that it looked. So I peeled that off, and when I did, it tore off some of the paper. So instead of scrapping the entire project, I just decided to go ahead and take some of the sandpaper and distress it even more. And so I go and I distress all of the spools a little bit more than what they had with the ripped paper. And then I pulled these fibers out, and I don't end up using them all. Towards the end of the video, I end up using the middle one, and the others end up being too wide for what I was planning on doing, so I didn't end up using those. But here I'm taking a sponge, and these sponges are just from the pack at the dollar store. They're makeup sponges. And I fold it in half, and I'm taking some ink, and this is Close to My Heart ink in Lagoon color. And I'm going to just color the whole spool. And then I'm going to take some distress ink, and I believe it's Tattered Twig or something like that. I think it's Tattered Twig. And I'm going to take another sponge, and I'm just going to put this in the spots where the paper has been torn. So I try and put it more on the edges than in the middle, just to give it kind of a distressed look. And this paper is really cute, and it fits perfectly with the theme that I'm going for, which is pretty much appreciation. And it says, "You're awesome, be happy, you're fantastic." And then I take another ink pad, and this is Citrus Lime, I believe. And this is another Close to My Heart ink pad. So I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the first. I'm going to go over this whole thing, and then I'm going to use the distress ink to fill in where it's distressed, where the paper's torn. And then the last color I use is a My Hero Arts cube, and this is a bubblegum color. And this is a cube that was in the January 2017 Hero Arts kit. I'm going to do the same thing. Put it all around the spool. And then this one doesn't have that much distressing on it, but I do take the distressing and go over the few spots where there is some distress. And so I have a pink, a green, and a blue. And now I'm going to take an artsy stamp and die set, and this is feathers. And I'm taking the lagoon color, and I also have already done the pink, so I took the bubblegum color, and I did that in the feather. And then I tried to do the citrus leaf in the feather. I had a really hard time. It wouldn't, I didn't get good impressions on any of it. I tried several times. So I tried using that and it didn't work out. So I end up using a darker green color for that last feather. And I'm just using a piece of scrap paper as a background. It's a very muted background. When you end up, after I use the die cut and cut it out, you can't really tell that it's pink stripes. But I wanted something really subtle. And so I'm going to take the die and I'm going to attach that to the paper with a piece of Post-it note. And I run this through my Big Shot. And the pink one I have already done. I'm using my Spectrum Noir sparkle or glitter pens. And I'm using the colored pens, I'm not using the clear. And I'll have the colors in the description. I'm not sure, I can't remember offhand exactly what colors I used, as I did most of this video last week. And then I take the blue. I think this one's aquamarine, maybe? So she's going to give the feathers a little bit more character, putting a little bit of glitter on them. And then I take some threads and I wrap it around, and this is why I can't use the thicker threads that I had originally picked out, is because I use a hand hole punch for this, and it's I think a 1/4 inch, but the hole is way too small for those bigger threads, and so I end up having to pick out a few different ones. And so all I'm doing is putting the thread through the punch hole, and then I'm wrapping the thread around the spool a few times, and I'm wrapping it fairly tightly. But I do take my hot glue gun and I glue it at the beginning of the thread and the end so that it is glued down in 2 spots. But it's wrapped tight enough where it's not going to move up and down. I just wanted to make sure the loose ends didn't unravel. So I'm going to glue each of them. And so here's almost the finished product. This basically I'm done with decorating the spools. And so now I'm going to put the paper clips in, I believe. And I don't glue the paper clips in. You can if you want. I don't. They're just tight enough where they stay in there. But if you were to pick them up by the paper clip, they wouldn't stay in. They might pull out. So it's really up to you whether you want to glue those down or whether you want to just leave them like I have and not glue them. And also this could be, I mean, I'm putting a phrase in there, but you could put, this could be a picture holder, a photo holder, or you can even use it to change out like every week what you want to have in there. And so now I'm taking out some, this is a Prima Floral. It's butterflies and it's got a few flowers and a few leaves. And so I'm just going to take my wire cutters and I will cut out the butterflies. Originally I was going to use more of the flowers and the leaves in the project, but I decided against that. So you just want to make sure you leave enough of a stem coming off of it, because the butterfly is going to be adhered in between two of these Project Life cards. And I'm using Project Life cards for this, but you could use pretty much anything. You can use the cutouts from a paper pad, or you can even make your own phrase or whatever you want to put on that. But these fit perfectly, so I'm using these, and just you are totally awesome. And luckily I had enough of them to be able to do the amount that I needed. So I'm just taking the phrase on the front, and then I took 3 other Project Life cards, and I'm using that for the background. And this is why you need a little bit of a stem to be left on the butterfly, is so that it will stick up far enough. So that's something that to glue down. And for each of the butterflies, I take my clear Wink of Stella and I just go over the wings of the butterfly. And I believe these are paper butterflies, but they almost feel like fabric. So I'm not absolutely sure. They might not be paper. They're probably something else. I just don't know what material it is. And I had a little bit of trouble with this video. Parts of it are cut out because when my phone reaches this maximum recording length, it'll just shut off, and that happened to me several times. So there's parts of this video, especially towards the end, that didn't get recorded. And so I do add in at the end how to make the springs that I use in the picture. But this Project Life card, I'm gluing it down with some Aquamano glue, and then I put 1 drop of glue from my glue gun to attach the butterfly. And then I'm going to adhere the 2 pieces together, front to back. And I do hold my hand on that butterfly piece just to make sure that it's not lifting up at all. So I probably hold it about 30 seconds to a minute to make sure that it's closed and it's not going to come apart. And I actually left these overnight before giving them, so it did stay together. And this is a finished project, almost. I do add some other things. So I added some stickles. As you can see, there's a paperclip arrow. And I also add an acrylic letter to the arrow with my glue gun. So this part got cut out, and so I kind of tried to add it at the end. The arrows I used are the Flea Market Fancy from Hobby Lobby, and also the flowers are spare parts from Hobby Lobby. The big flowers have glitter on them, the small ones don't, so I actually used my Spectrum Noir clear to brush on some glitter on the smaller flowers. And at the pictures on the end of the video, you'll see the completed project. And then I take some wire, and this is to make the springs that you'll see on the completed project at the end. The lower the gauge, the thicker the wire is. This artistic wire I got from Tuesday Morning, it's 24 gauge. And then the floral wire I probably got from Walmart, I think that's 28. And those are the 2 I use. I'm just showing you here this thinner wire, I think it's 34 gauge. But I've found the 24 gauge wire, it's the perfect thickness for these springs, and it holds its shape perfectly, and you can kind of stretch it out a little bit and do what you want with it. So then you just want to leave enough stem on that spring to be able to insert it wherever you're going to insert it, but it's super easy. I just take one end and hold it with my finger and wrap around a pencil. And here I'm just showing the thinner. It still works and you can still use it for things. It's just a little bit thinner. It doesn't wrap as nicely, I don't think. But that is my video, and I hope you enjoyed. And please like and subscribe, and I will see you later.